If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. I find it interesting. I live in a 7 foot by 6 foot box with a cab over. You know, I don't have a lot of things to be a modernized, civilized human being. And if you read a lot of the comments, especially comments from other YouTubers when they talk about me, Rob really makes his lifestyle really difficult by not wanting to spend money or living in that little box. He needs to get more things. But then when we talk about specifics, how I want to have modern technologies and modern things, then they'll say, oh, no, you can't do that. And the two examples are showers. You know, so I like to have good amount of water. 40 gallons a week for me and Carolyn. Oh my goodness, why would you ever think about using that much water? Because I like showers. You know, it's you know, I minimize down to nothing, absolutely nothing. But then we're not allowed to use water. So the concept of all this just doesn't make sense to me. And this isn't like, you know, two different commenters. I've actually seen one commenter complain that I need to have more things. You gotta have this and you gotta have that. And then complain when I say, oh, well, I use 40 gallons of water to take showers. Well, you don't need to take showers. You can use a sponge bath. Another example is electricity. I am criticized terribly bad about electricity and how I power our things. Because everybody assumes that you got to have solar panels. You got to have solar panels. The only way to do this lifestyle is you got to have solar panels. And they'll always send me a link to that big YouTuber who's telling everybody you gotta have solar panels. And I've actually done some research on this. Florida is called the Sunshine State. But in all actuality, Arizona has more full sun days than Florida does. So you really gotta be in Arizona to enjoy the full effects of solar panels. The biggest reason I use a ton of electricity is the refrigerator. Now, I just watched this video that everybody told me I gotta have solar because the big YouTuber says you gotta have solar. So I went and watched his videos like I was told to. First thing is this guy that they're interviewing has a ton of solar panels. And he even said, you'll probably never get that much solar. And that's right, there's no way I could fit that much solar on my 7 by 6 foot box. There's just no way. I've had solar in the past. I put solar on my house, you know, 10 or 15 years ago. I understand what solar is. And I wasn't that big of a fan of it back then. It was more work than it was worth. Now, I recognize costs have come down a little bit. They said in the video, you're still going to have a backup generator. So here I'm going to go out all this cost on solar panels and still have to have a generator. Carrying around gasoline and all these things. So it's just more stuff, and you're not going to get everything you need out of the solar panels. Solar panels will not give us even close to what we need. I would still have to run the generator at least 3 hours a day. Right now I run it about 6 hours a day, charge batteries, and shut it off. Here's the convenient thing about the generator though. If I decide I want more electricity, all I gotta do is go back out and start up the generator, charge batteries. Another thing they said is if you're going to have solar panels, you're still gonna need a propane, it's called a three-way refrigerator, but a propane refrigerator. So you're still burning fossil fuels to have a refrigerator. So it didn't make sense to me. I'm going to get solar panels so I can have electricity, I guess, to run my laptop computers and turn on some LED lights. But I can't have a refrigerator unless I get a propane refrigerator. Well, first of all, those things are very expensive. Second, you know, I have up and down reviews on this. A lot of people will say, oh, yeah, they're the greatest thing in the world, and then others will say they're just junk. So I'm not a big fan of them. Now, I also understand you can get a DC refrigerator, but those things are so terribly expensive. We have an apartment-sized refrigerator bought from Walmart for $150, whereas if I got one DC generator, that's about $1,500 to have the same amount of capacity. This is key because everybody, anytime I talk about DC refrigerators, somebody will send me a link to a refrigerator that's $500, but it won't hold what we want. We want to be able to hold 2 weeks of frozen food, meats. And so our little apartment-sized refrigerator, dorm-sized refrigerator, has a fully functional freezer. So I'm told a lot that even if I just went ahead and got solar, even though I couldn't get enough solar to power everything that we need, that at least I'd have some cost savings on my fuel costs. Even if I just got like $800 worth of solar panels, it would take me several years to pay for that $800. And I would still have to have the generator. I think most people would agree that you're just going to have a generator, especially since we're not living in Arizona. So that means now I'm going to have, you know, let's just say $500 in solar panels and $500 in a generator. So now I got $1,000 invested into electricity. Well, right now I only pay $40 a month in gas to run my generators, sometimes $30. And more frequently, we're down into the $30 range. So even if the solar panels could save me $15 a month, it's going to take, like I said, you know, a lot to get that $1,000 back. I mean, if you really look at what I'm saving, in my house, I was spending $130, $150 a month in electric, you know, running the air conditioner or the heater or whatever. So now I'm down to $40 in electricity. The other thing is I don't mind paying the $30 to $40 a month in gas to run my generator for the convenience of not having to worry about electricity. I get up in the morning, start the generator, run it for a few hours, shut it off, and do it again in the afternoon. It's not a big deal. And if I want to go somewhere, I can just start the truck, and the truck charges the battery while we're driving down the road. Here's the other thing, if you really think about it. My camper, now after 2 years, I've put $700 into my camper. So, what people are suggesting is that I actually spend more money than what my camper is worth on solar panels. Well, that just doesn't make sense to me. Now, the generator is very quiet, very efficient. I get about 9 hours on a gallon of gas. It's quieter than a conversation. You can sit right next to it and talk to someone. The other thing is it lasts forever. I had my first one for over 2,000 hours before it got burned up in the pop-up camper fire. And, you know, this one, about the same. You know, the second one we're on now is about the same, and it doesn't show any sign of having issues. Thanks for watching. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.